You can't fix the injuries, but
Yeah.
if there's one thing you could fix, would it be the turnovers,
Yep.
the early turnovers?
Yeah, the two things, if you just look at offensively finishing every play with the football, every drive with a kick, whether it's a punt, a field goal, or obviously an extra point. Defensively, just tackling. I mean, those two basic fundamentals of the game have to be better. If you tackle better, you create takeaways. You stop the run, you get them in the third and long, now you have interception opportunities. So those are the biggest two things fundamentally we've got to improve.
Have you noticed any similarities to your team last year to what Coach Ledford has implemented on his offense this year?
I mean, they're running the stretch, the same base play that we run. And their formations are sometimes the same. They're using a lot more tight ends than we use, so that's a lot different. Obviously, they've got a mobile quarterback, so that's a lot different than what we were with Ryan. So it's not as much of a quick game, drop back game that we had with Ryan. They're featuring their tailback, and guy's a good player, so I understand that.
Probably have more healthier tight ends than you too.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think last year at this time we talked about how fickle it was with Louisville. 8 wins, Lamar Jackson, then they fall to 2 and they lose their coach, and now they're finding their footing again. So it's kind of show what college football is like in today's world.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing coaches getting fired in their second season halfway through it right now. So, I don't know. Doesn't say a lot to me, but as far as Louisville goes, Scott's doing a great job. The staff's doing a great job, and obviously they had talent. You can see that. He didn't walk into as bad a situation as people thought. They've got really, really good skill players. Offensively, their 3 receivers, their tailback, their tight ends, they're really good football players.
It's weird to say this after playing Clemson, but does some of that Louisville skill position speed, is that a worry?
I mean, every week in the ACC, you play good skill. I mean, every team you play, it doesn't matter who it is. I mean, that's just how this conference is built, and that's what makes it a great league.
Yeah, 2 guys for Louisville at 5'9" with their running back and one of their top wide receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, how difficult does it make it when you've got guys that are that small and that speedy?
I mean, again, it's kind of the same question over and over here. They have great skill, so whether they're tall, short, doesn't matter. I mean, if guys can run, they can run, and in this game, speed is always something that you want on your football team, and they have a lot of it. And I think a lot of those guys, I think they're tailback and number 1, 2. I mean, those guys are playmakers.
We have a tendency to look at the bigger picture and see, or overreact to losses, whereas players might not. Do you feel like they're kind of focused more on, hey, we could win this week or even next week or the week after and still get to a bowl, even despite the way that the previous 3 games have gone?
Yeah, and I think that's my job, is to insulate, because everyone else overreacts. We can't, I mean, we're not happy. I mean, let's not say that, but they understand that when we started the season, we made a pact in that room that we're going to go 1 week at a time. And we'll have to reassess our goals as we go, obviously, but there's a lot for this team to play for, and most importantly, their pride. And I think that's the biggest thing, having a conference game at home, coming off a tough couple weeks. They want to fight hard to get that locker room the way they want it after a win.
What types of things have you seen from Devon, not only on the field but on the practice field as well, that show you that he's progressing as well?
Yeah, I mean, he's super competitive. He doesn't get rattled. He stays coachable. He's hard on himself, but he doesn't lose himself in tough moments. And these are very difficult, but also really rewarding experiences for him right now. I mean, what he's going through as a redshirt freshman will make him that much better. And the thing I like is how he comes to work. I mean, the guy's in the office at night on his own every night for 2 hours watching film. Not to mention, when they're here for practice and everything else. So he's very dedicated to being a good football player.
You kind of referenced reaching out to other coaches that you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure though in the past when you first arrived at NC State, how much did you talk to like the Hayden Frys or the Manginos or even lessons you learned from Barry Alvarez from how he rebuilt Wisconsin?
Yeah, I mean, I've always talked to guys that I worked for. Didn't work for Hayden Fry,
But he's your godfather, the godfather of your coaching tree.
Yeah, Coach Bielema's kind of the guy that I go to working for him, and he grew up in that with Coach Snyder and Coach Fry, and he's been a great voice for me. Joe Glenn, who I was with at Montana, who's a really, really successful head coach, has been a great voice for me. So you just go back to people that you respect and love in the profession. And then there's a lot of coaches I've worked with, but I think that's what makes this such a great profession, is the fraternity of it. There's a lot of guys out there that reach out to you in good and bad times, and that you can do the same for.